Here's my Jinji SLR CQB limited edition, which again is just the color from AK Gel Blaster. Go ahead, change it up a little bit, change up the performance and obviously the looks of it. So if you watched the previous video I did on this, I showed you how to kind of open it up, how we can access the spring from the back without having to remove the receiver from the lower, which is nice because again, this has is a nicer blaster, has some more different moving parts, which means there's more things to lose and it's harder to put back together. So it's great that you can go ahead and access the spring from right back here just from removing the standard or factory stock. And then the top of the receiver can come off so you can switch up the metal inner barrel from there again without removing the gearbox from the lower. So put in a longer metal inner barrel, right? And then I've got this metal outer that is almost long enough. I prefer not to cut inner barrels just because it's hard to cut them super smooth. So I'll probably just have, some sort of fake suppressor flash hider on the end here. Only place that can be an issue is if you're trying to use a tracer. This is going to stick too far past the tracer sensor. So you either need to have more of a custom tracer where you can kind of move the sensor out inside of it, which those are available, or you do need to trim that down. So for now, I think I'm going to leave it, but just so you guys are aware of that. So went to the longer metal inner barrel, and then this does already have a nice gearbox with metal gears. I'm going to go ahead and put a big spring in there. I'm going to go to an M100, which is, pushing the limits. You probably shouldn't go over M95 if you're going for longevity, but I'm going to go ahead and push the limits and go to M100. So just know if you do something like that, you're going to wear things out faster. It is going to break sooner or need servicing sooner. But like I say in all my videos, if you use any blaster enough, regardless of if you've done upgrades or it's stock, you are eventually going to need to do some part replacement because things will eventually break, much like a car or any device that has motors and moving parts, right? So what I want to do here is go to a cool new handguard, and I have made this handguard in the past, but I modified it for like a Gen 8, which was, really just adding a special attachment piece. But this one was printed as intended, and the guy who designed this is a French guy. He's got a website. He does a lot of airsoft custom builds, and he's very good at modeling and designing. And this is the Psy Gris, is what it's called. I'm going to be honest, I'm not into video games. I don't know if this is from a particular video game or where this design comes from, but I do like it. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and use it. And I do have a link to him in the description. He has a lot of really cool kits. Some of them will work straight off the printer on your gel blasters. Some of them won't because, again, they're designed for airsoft. However, he does custom work, and I think you can order anything from him as well. So it's actually printed in 2 pieces, printed it super strong, lots of walls, even 100% infill, which may be overkill, but I wanted to print it as strong as I could. I did a lot of sanding, and then I went with that texture paint to try to make it look as good as I can. So that'll obviously go on there. And then I've got this grip that I went with. I like this grip. I think it kind of goes along with the style of this, and it also was like the right size to fit right there, which is what I was looking for. So that's what we're going to have there. I had this canted riser already made for when I just first showcased this blaster. It's just, got the SLR embossed on there. A couple little spots here where my logo sticker can fit, and then it's canted off the side. So you can use the flip up standard sights that come with this. So there'll be one on here as well. The one is here. And then this right here to put a different type of optic on. So that's what we got going out on this end and on the receiver. On the back here, this takes a threaded buffer tube. So I went ahead and I wanted to use a metal buffer tube, but I do not have a metal black buffer tube available right now. I had one that is desert tan or khaki. I didn't really want to use that one, and I didn't want to paint it because it seems kind of silly when I could use it in that. So I printed this at 100%. Infill again with lots of walls to make it really strong. I think it should perform just fine. And this will just screw on the back here, right? So this just screws on there. This needs to get painted still, but like this piece will go in there first to kind of cover that hole on the bottom right down here, right? And then the buffer tube goes through there, screws in nice and tight, and then you use the buffer tube nut to kind of straighten everything out and keep it nice and tight. So that'll go on there. And then we got this nice stock. This is actually a stock from EMERBU Toys. I believe this is the standard stock that, actually I don't think this comes with any of their blasters now. So just a nice stock. And then I also printed this riser that just slides on in place. Is made specifically for the stock, and again, luckily works directly off the printer. I didn't have to modify it or resize it or anything. I just have to carefully kind of slide it on here, and even these little tabs click right into these little holes that are on here, and that way it stays on there nice. Kind of gives it a cool look. You can kind of visualize it right there. I still need to hit that with a little more paint, so that's why things aren't completely put together. All right, so that's the build plan. I guess we'll call it my SLR SaiGry. Hopefully I'm saying that right, SAI-GRY. And I think it's going to turn out really cool, right? So you see the threads are going to come just to the end here, right? And then we can go ahead and put some sort of, like I said, fake, suppressor or anything. I could print a really small extension to get threads out to here. So maybe I will try that and see if I feel that it's strong enough. Try to avoid printing threads when I can, but if I go to 100% and use plenty of walls, they should be strong enough, especially if they're reinforced by this metal inner barrel. They're not just floating out here. That's when they tend to break easier. All right, so there's the build plan. Check back. I think it's going to look really cool. Hopefully we see some big performance. Obviously increasing to a longer metal inner barrel does mess with the gearbox because this was set up for that shorter one. But I'm going to a bigger spring. I don't see how we're not going to see at least some increases in FPS. We definitely should, without even having to deal with porting porting the cylinder or finding a ported cylinder. Comments, questions, post them below. Of course, like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, participate in those monthly giveaways. Check out AK Gel Blaster. That's where this originally came from. Great site, very responsive, lots of cool new blasters, and ships really fast from Hong Kong. You should get your stuff in about a week, which is really fast from overseas. All right, thanks for your support.